Good morning, everyone. This is Victoria with VLV Designs, and today we are going to be making my dad's favorite mint chocolate chip cookies. So this is something that has become a tradition. I started making it for Christmas and had no idea that he was going to kind of be obsessed with them. So now when I come to visit, it's one of those request items. It's not, are you bringing Max? Are you bringing Adam? It's, are you bringing the mint chocolate chip cookies? So I'm going to be showing you how to make those today, as I wouldn't be a visit without them. And what you're going to need is 1 cup of butter, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 eggs, 1.5 teaspoons of peppermint extract, food coloring, green food coloring, just because it's more fun, 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 6 ounces of Andes chocolate, finely chopped up. I usually do the bits and pieces. They usually have that around Christmas, but today I'm gonna have to chop it up myself. And then also 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. So we're gonna get started. Right now I have my cup of softened butter here in the mixer, and I'm going to add my 1.5 cups of sugar. And I got really excited when I found a recipe that everyone loves, because it's kind of fun to, you know, have that signature cookie recipe. And it's really good for all holidays. It's good for Christmas, it's good for St. Patty's Day, and for this occasion we are doing it for my dad's 65th birthday. So I'm gonna spoon 1.5 cups. I also have become in love with my KitchenAid mixer. I find that designing your kitchen to have all of the things functional. I keep my mixer in a cabinet right here. It's easy to get to. I know growing up we never used it because it was in that cabinet that was in the back corner. It was so hard to get to. And then you don't use your, the things that are supposed to make your life easier. Okay, so I'm only gonna fill this up 1/2. Alrighty, so got the 1/2 there. And now we are going to cream this for about 3 minutes until it's super fluffy. Alright, so that's about done being creamed and mixed. I've got my Andes mints. As I mentioned, I couldn't find the pieces since it's summertime. So we're gonna chop these up just a little bit later. This package says it is 4.5 ounces, but I think my dad might want some extra. So I don't usually measure when it comes to the fun part. Okay, so that was 3 minutes. Now we are going to add our eggs. I'm gonna do 2 eggs. And I usually crack the eggs in a separate bowl just so I don't get any of the shells in. Also designing your kitchen to have the garbage can. I have a pull-out drawer right here, and that makes it so much easier. You have dirty hands, whatever, it's all right where I need it to be in my work surface area. So having a good triangle, work triangle. Okay. drop that in. So there's my 2 eggs. And next I'm going to do my 1.5 teaspoons of peppermint extract. So right over here is where I keep all of my, measuring cups, things like that. So again, all right in my work triangle, very easy to get to. So got peppermint extract. I'm gonna do okay. Oh, it smells so good. So that's the 1 teaspoon, and we'll do a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so then next I'm going to do my food coloring. Now this is all up to you. If you don't want to use food coloring, totally fine. My dad's very specific about not changing the recipe. So when I made them at Christmas the first time, I used, green food coloring. It kind of had a little bit of a Grinch vibe to it. And now it's like, don't bring me cookies that aren't green. So I'll start with like 3 or 4 drops. And then once you start mixing it up, you just bring it to the color that you want. So this is also really fun for kids. Okay, so I've got my 2 eggs, I got my peppermint extract, now I need to add, and my food coloring, now I need to add my cream of tartar. So for the cream of tartar, we are going to add 2 teaspoons. So I'm gonna just quickly dry off my peppermint extract. All right, so I've got my, let's see. This is really pretty much the only reason that I have this cream of tartar is to make these cookies. So, and I need 2 teaspoons. So let's see. There's 1. It looks like I'm gonna need to be getting some more soon. In quarantine, I've made these cookies already, so, but gotta make Dad happy for his birthday. Okay. All right, so I've got that in there, and now I'm gonna blend those for 3 minutes as well. So the sun's kind of shining on this. That's also what I love about my kitchen is I have natural light coming in from like the whole corner here. So if you love to cook, you probably spend a lot of time in your kitchen. You want to make sure that you really enjoy your kitchen. If you don't love to cook, maybe the reason you don't love to cook could be the functionality of your kitchen. So that's really important with design in any space. Yes, you want to design a beautiful space, but you want to also make sure that it's functional, because a functional space becomes more beautiful when you enjoy it. You could have the most beautiful space in the world, but if it is not comfortable, if it is not easy to live in, you will start to despise it and it's no longer pretty. So just keep that in mind. And we can help you with trying to bring the best function in, because it really makes all the difference. Okay, so now we are going to start with our Andes mints. Hi everyone, it's Victoria. We're back. So I have unwrapped all of my Andes mints, so don't really recommend that. I recommend getting the pre-chopped up ones. But it's all made with love, right? So now I'm going to be doing 3 cups of flour, and I am using a sifter. I'm gonna sift this into a bowl, so I'm just adding it to my sifter. So, got 3 cups of flour. And I love baking or cooking on the weekend. I personally think it's a stress reliever. So when we were building our house, we put all of our like extra into our kitchen just because we knew we were going to spend a ton of time in it. So it not only is it an easy working kitchen, but it's also an easy entertaining kitchen. Okay, so there's 2. And I can see Max as he's watching me from his little sanctuary in the bar room. Okay, so there's 3 cups. All right, so then I need to do, I've got my 3 cups of flour. I need to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which I have right here. So I'll do 2 teaspoons. Well, I can tell I've been making a lot of these because I'm running low on this as well. Okay, so 2 teaspoons of that, and then I do 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I've got that right here. So 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then also a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I just took my salt grinder, kind of grinded some up. And let's see. So I'll just do a 1/4 teaspoon. That looks about half of half. All right, I think that's about right. Put the extra back in, save it for later. Okay, and then I'm gonna start sifting this. So just sift it to really mix it all, and that's how you get that really, really fine powder. And I find that it makes the cookies just more delicious, more fluffy, more airy. And then what's really interesting is my dad, I mean, most people want their cookies to be fresh out of the oven. My dad prefers his cookies either in the freezer, but most preferably the refrigerator. He likes them really cold. So whatever floats your boat. Okay, so I'm sifting here. Gotta shake it up. Really mixing everything. And the best part about making these cookies is I know that it's making someone happy, and we also have a lot of yummy desserts, yummy treats that we can share with everyone. It's great to bring to, that's the best part about cookies is like they're great for crowds. But this is just gonna be a small gathering, but he kind of wants to hoard all the cookies himself, so I'm bringing him an extra stock. Okay, so that's all sifted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly combine all of this into my, you can see the green color here. So that's kind of the green color that I like to get, but you can see I've been adding a little bit more as I go. So just start adding a little bit in. I don't do the whole thing, I only do a little bit as I go because I really want it to blend nicely. Oh, I can smell the mint. It's so fresh smelling. Fresh cookies, right? All right. So just a little bit as we go. Blend it again. Now, if you're a real baker and you have like no desire to put your KitchenAid mixer away, I suggest getting one that matches your kitchen. I didn't know how much I was gonna love it, but that's why I got just the neutral color silver, because it goes with all my stainless steel appliances. But they come in really fun colors, and if you're someone that wants to keep it out, that could be a great way of bringing pops of color. Like if you know, I thought about even getting the turquoise one because I have turquoise accents. But that's another great way that you can bring color into your kitchen. Alrighty, almost there. I think we'll just do one more, and then it'll be all blended together. Cool. Let's mix that all up. Okay, so you saw I have unwrapped all of my Andes mints. I am going to use, was a great find. I personally love my electric food processor, you know, for using most things. But I think this will be good so I just get chunks. I don't want it to be like super fine because we want to actually see the chunks. So I'm going to put this in. It's all mixed up nicely. Okay. And then this has one of those pulley, you know, pulls, and so I'm just gonna kind of pull it to get it out. Yeah. All right, so that's getting me good chunks. You could also chop them up by hand, but this is more fun. Morning workout. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the inside. I am going to, looks like there's a few bigger pieces, but that's okay, that's the beauty of it. All right, so I'm going to pour all the yummy goodness in. So hopefully Dad will be happy, but you know, it's not the way I normally do it with the pre-crushed, but this took more effort. So I put more love into this. Okay. And then I'm also going to take my semi-sweet chocolate chips. Again, the recipe calls for 6 ounces. But I say use your discretion and add as much as you like. My dad likes lots of chocolate, so. Alrighty. As you can see, I'm not even measuring. All right, and then we're gonna mix it up. Yum. It looks like mint chocolate chip ice cream. I think it could use a little more. Okay, so I might put 12 ounces of chocolate chips in. You want, you know, a good heaping in every single bite. Can't let other cookies be left out. Okay? think we're ready to go. I recommend either getting parchment paper or baking sheet on your baking sheet. I'm just gonna use the baking cooking spray. So I'll make my cookie sheets ready, and then we're about to scoop and put in the oven. So I am going to try 2 different ways. Sometimes I refrigerate the dough, and sometimes I just put it straight in the oven. So I'm going to do a few different batches because this should make like 4 dozen. So what I'm doing right now is you can see the dough is pretty light and fluffy. I'm just going to make small scoops like you see here. So at least a dozen per, but you can make them whatever size. And then we're going to bake in the oven for 350 for 8 to 10 minutes, depending on your oven and depending on the size of the cookies, but I would just check on them. So we're about to have some yummy cookies. Hi everyone, it's Victoria with VLV Designs. So I just have taken the rest of the batter out of the refrigerator. I have my batch over here that I, cooked or baked for about 9 minutes at 350. They've turned out great. I think they're gonna be a little chewy, which is really good. And I put the rest of the batter into the fridge just to firm it up, and I'm gonna see what the difference is. If you wanna make the batter in advance, you can always make it the night before and refrigerate, and then ready to scoop it out. So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so for those of you who want to make your batter the night before, you can refrigerate this batter. So I've done that, if you've got a busy plans, but you wanna have fresh baked cookies, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then it makes it a little more firm for you to scoop it to put it into balls. Also, I ended up running out of my baking spray, which real world, that happens to us all, right? So I'm using tin foil instead, also works great. I also think I'm gonna put in a few extra chocolate chips for Dad. And we'll check with you as soon as we're done. All right, so my cookies are all done. The recipe made about 4 dozen cookies. So I hope my dad is going to love them for his birthday. But as my father-in-law says, the proof is in the pudding. So no better way to really properly taste test your cookies and make sure they're safe, to hand out than to try it with a glass of milk. So here's my cookie. Do a little dunk. Cheers, everyone. Happy 65th birthday, Dad. Love you.